He thought he was just stepping into his car after another long day of board meetings and business calls. But when a trembling hand suddenly covered his mouth from the back seat, and a woman's broken voice whispered, "Please, don't scream. I'm not here to hurt you," everything changed. What she told him next would turn his entire world upside down, and force him to confront a past he thought he had buried forever. Stay until the end, because what this millionaire does after hearing her story will break your heart, and heal it at the same time. The rain was falling hard that night. Ethan Cole, a 42-year-old millionaire CEO known for his cold logic and perfection, walked briskly through the parking garage of his company. His tailored suit was soaked, his phone buzzing with endless notifications. He had built an empire from nothing, but the price had been steep. No family. No friends. Only money and control. When he finally reached his black sedan, he sighed and loosened his tie. Finally, silence, he muttered, sliding into the driver's seat. That's when it happened. A soft gasp came from behind him, and before he could turn, a hand covered his mouth. "Please," a shaky voice whispered, "please don't yell. I'm not here to hurt you." Ethan froze. His instincts screamed to fight, but something in that voice, the fear, the pain, stopped him. Slowly, she removed her hand. A young woman, drenched from the rain, her hair sticking to her pale face, sat trembling in the back seat. Her clothes were torn. Her eyes, red from crying, darted nervously toward the garage exit. "Who are you?" Ethan demanded, voice low but steady. "My name's Lila," she whispered. "And I didn't know where else to go. Why are you in my car?" She hesitated, then whispered, "Because your name was on my mother's necklace." Ethan's heart stopped. "What?" She held up a small silver pendant, engraved with 2 letters, EC. "I found this in my mother's things after she died," she said. "She always told me the man who gave it to her saved her life, years ago. She said if I was ever in trouble, I should find him." Ethan stared, his mind racing. He remembered, barely, a young woman he had pulled from a car wreck nearly 20 years ago, before he was rich, before the suits and the skyscrapers. She had been badly hurt, but alive. He had taken her to the hospital, left before she woke up, and never looked back. And now, this girl. "Lila," he said slowly, "your mother's name." "Grace. Grace Nolan." Ethan's breath caught. "Grace. She said you were the kindest man she'd ever met," Lila whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "But now, I need your help too." Ethan's voice softened. "What's wrong?" "They're after me," she said. "The people my mom owed money to. They want something she left behind, and they think I have it." Ethan sat back, torn between disbelief and compassion. He wanted to call the police. He wanted to push her out and drive away. But the fear in her eyes, it wasn't fake. It was the same fear he'd seen years ago, when he saved her mother. "All right," he said finally, his tone shifting. "You're safe now. Tell me everything." As she spoke, about her mother's debt, the threats, the nights she'd slept in alleys, Ethan felt something inside him crack open. The man who'd once saved a stranger had been buried under success and loneliness. But Lila's arrival, raw, desperate, and real, reminded him of who he once was. That night, he drove her to his mansion, gave her dry clothes, and called his security team. But when she stepped out of the shower, holding that necklace tightly, she looked at him and said, "Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Ethan replied quietly, "Because once upon a time, I promised your mother I would." Days passed. Lila stayed hidden in one of Ethan's guest rooms as his lawyers and investigators tried to uncover who was threatening her. Ethan found himself checking on her more often than he intended, bringing her food, sitting with her in the evenings, listening to her stories about her mother's kindness and her dreams of becoming a nurse. She always said the men who saved her taught her that kindness still exists, Lila told him one night, smiling faintly. "But I never thought I'd meet him." For the first time in years, Ethan smiled, a real, human smile. But peace didn't last long. One night, as Ethan was leaving the office, his car was surrounded by 2 masked men. They smashed his window, dragged him out, and demanded, "Where's the girl?" Ethan fought back, took a hit to the ribs, and shouted, "You'll never touch her." His driver and guards arrived seconds later, forcing the attackers to flee. When Ethan returned home, bruised and bleeding, Lila ran to him, tears streaming. "You could have been killed." He looked at her and said softly, "Some things are worth protecting." That moment changed everything. The next morning, Ethan gathered all his resources, lawyers, police, private security. Within days, the people hunting Lila were arrested. They were part of a loan shark ring, exploiting single mothers like Grace. When it was over, Ethan sat beside Lila in his garden. The sun was rising, golden light reflecting off the fountain. "You're free now," he said gently. Lila looked at him. "So are you." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" She smiled through tears. "You saved my mother, and you saved me. But I think I also saved you from your own walls." He couldn't argue. For the first time in years, he felt alive. He wasn't just a millionaire. He was a man who had rediscovered his heart. A month later, Ethan funded a women's shelter in Grace's name, the Nolan House, a refuge for single mothers and their children. He appointed Lila as the director. At the opening ceremony, Lila handed him back the necklace. "It belongs to you," she said softly. He shook his head. "No. It belongs to the next person who needs hope." She smiled. "Then I'll keep it, until I find them." And for the first time, Ethan realized that some promises echo through time, not in words, but in hearts that refuse to stop caring.